So for the practice, we're going to look at this second aspect of self-control, ending perception with perception. So do this during a regular activity that you do, something that is consistent in your daily or weekly schedule, preferably daily. So a couple of exercises here. So a couple of examples here. Exercise, cooking. Great ones. Because they are very sense-oriented, but at the same time, you don't have to be spending a huge amount of your mental bandwidth to do them. You're going for a walk or a jog or doing yoga. You know, you're creaming the butter and the sugar, adding the eggs and so forth. Take a sense organ or take a sense contact from that activity and label it. So while you are, as I say, taking a walk, preparing food, eating food, pick a single sense organ and label what it is that you are perceiving. So let's say you're going for a walk. Your eyes naturally fall upon a cactus. Or you are chopping the onions. You're looking at the onion. I see onion. Or you're smelling the onion perhaps, or the sauce that you're using. It smells tangy. You're doing your breath exercise, your pranayama. You can feel the movement of the belly, out, in, out, in. Label it with that word, whichever one works, doesn't matter what you use. In doing this, you are staying in the present moment with that one perception, rather than allowing the mind to drift off onto other things, or, and this is especially the case, as I say, let's say you're going for a walk and you see something beautiful, rather than, gee, that cactus was really nice, I didn't know they flowered like that at this time of the year, dwelling. So we are practicing ending perception with perception by consciously labeling whatever is naturally most prominent to us in the present moment. And then as you walk past it, it's gone. You can't see it anymore. So your eyes will naturally alight on something else. Now that's your present moment. Or you're doing your pranayama. I feel the belly moving in and out. And now I can hear the breath. Now that's where my attention goes. Breath. You can feel it now in your nostrils as it passes in and out. Nostrils. You're just allowing yourself to stay with wherever the present perception lands. As we do this, we should expect that the mind will drift off the present experience or the present perception and onto something else. That's fine. That's part of the practice, in fact. We're merely observing what's going on, and then when we recognize, oop, the mind has drifted, just gently bring it back. So once again, we are balancing between two types of activity or two postures here. The first is the conscious thought force to keep the mind directed onto the object. But we can go too far with that and try to clutch on to the perception. I'm going to watch my breath and I'm not going to let myself come off it. Okay, this is suppression. So there is that gentle, directed attention. That's the one of the aspects. The other part is relaxing, letting go. The practice is to allow the mind or the attention to rest on the object. So there is also a relaxation. So we're avoiding that clamping or holding down or forcing of the attention, and we're also avoiding the mind just wandering off on its own. So see if you can pick a daily activity where you can practice this for a week or for longer if you wish, and you'll start to get a a picture of how your own mind functions. The more you do this, the more quickly you will recognize when the mind slips away. It'll become easier for the intellect to say you've slipped off your dwelling. The practice starts at the level of the senses, and then as you become used to this way of functioning, you can actually bring that same practice into emotions of the mind, thoughts of the intellect. And when you can get to that point where you are consistently aware of your own thoughts and naturally bringing them back to the central root, or the thought that you think is most important, then we are, as it were, meditative, to use the phrase from the verse. This enhances the mental peace that we experience because we're staying more and more in the present moment. Ultimately, this practice leads to meditation proper, dhyana, which is bringing the mind into the sharp focus upon a single thought to the exclusion of all other thought. That itself dissolves, and then we observe. We stay with the silence that remains. In that silence, the self is revealed. Where does it start? Cactus. So recognize where this very simple and seemingly mundane practice actually leads us. It leads us to meditation, just as the very simple and mundane thought of musing leads us to destruction, is the power of thought.